Okay, so this is your problem. The question is, for what value of x is it equal to square root of 2 over 2 between the interval 0 comma 360 degrees. Okay, so I assume you are familiar with your unit circle. Okay, so in general, if you want to do cosine, this is basically the x component. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Sine, this is your y component. And then if you want tangent, it will be opposite over hypotenuse, which is y over x. Okay, now why is that so? Now let's look, for example, this 30 degrees right here, and that coordinates right here is square root of 3 over 2 comma 1/2. That means this is the x, that's the y. Okay, now what that means is that it's called a unit circle because the radius is equal to 1. Now, if we drop a line that is perpendicular to the original 0, 0 um, radius, okay, so for instance like that, you will create a right triangle in here, and so you have a right triangle wherein these are your components. That means this is the x, so that means from this point to this point, that's square root of 3 over 2, and then from here to here, that's 1/2. That is what these coordinates mean. And of course, since this is a unit circle, then that means the hypotenuse is 1. And of course, this is your reference angle with the x-axis, and that in this case, this is 30 degrees, okay? I'm not answering the question just yet. This is just an example. Now, why is cosine the x? Remember, if you want to have cosine, that means adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, if you want to do cosine of 30, the adjacent side is square root of 3 over 2 divided by the hypotenuse, which is equal to 1, which is equal to square root of 3 over 2, which is basically your x component. So therefore, if you want to find cosine 30, that means it's square root of 3 over 2. If you want to find sine 30, then it'll just be 1/2, okay? If you want to do tangent 30, it means y over x, so your y is 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. Keep the numerator, multiply 2 over square root of 3, and that would be equal to 2 over square root of 3. This is your tangent. Of course, you need to rationalize that. So now your actual question is, so that's what it means. That's why that's what I mean when you say cosine. You just use the x component, the sine is y component, tangent is y over x. And if you want to do the other three trig ratios, then you just get the reciprocal of each one of these. So going back to your question, if you want to find out what angle will give you between 0 to 360 will give you a square root of 2 over 2. So it's really just a matter of looking at your unit circle, okay? And let's look at our unit circle. Where do we find, this is cosine, where do we find an x that is square root of 2 over 2? Well, we have this, okay, that one, which is 45 degrees, so that's 1. So you have 45 degrees. And where else? Well, this is square root of 2 over 2, but that's a negative, so that's not the one we're looking for. Square root of 2 over 2 here, but that's also a negative, so that's not it. And then you have square root of 2 over 2, which is a positive. That's what we want. Now, you can go from here to here, and that will be negative 45, but they want 0 to 360. So therefore, you have to start here and do counterclockwise and go there, and that will be equal to 315. So you have two angles between 0 to 360 that will give you a cosine of square root of 2 over 2.